Hello, everyone. How's it going? It's October. It's almost November. It's been a hot second. So, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Doing a little pop-up stream today. It's been a hot second since I've been streaming. So, it's October, and many of you know what that means. It's been Inktober. One ink drawing every day. I've been working pretty hard on it for the last few weeks, and we are nearing the end. So I've been doing some catch-up work because life happens and you fall behind a little bit, but I really wanted to do Inktober and do it in its entirety this year. So as if you have been following my work, you've noticed that there's been a Star Wars theme involved. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. There's just so many fun Star Wars characters to do. I love Star Wars. Yeah. Oh, and we have a little guest here. She might be appearing in a second. Oh boy, this will be interesting. So this is Rainey. She's our Inktober sponsor. Say hi. Okay, no, goodbye. So, anyways, it's going to be probably a very short stream today. I'm just here to ink this drawing. Yeah, we'll see how I can do this. As you can see, I have a new little setup. I have my camera over here for now. I wonder if I can give you a little quick peek. Well, maybe I'll show you later, but I have a little setup here where I have my phone recording my drawing. Yeah, it's exciting. So the one drawback is that you will see some shaking as I draw. It's just the unfortunate side effect of having this camera. Well, here, I'll just quickly show you. Let's see, it's a little, well, it's my phone right there. And then this is an extra light. So it's pretty cool. Shaky camera, sorry. Good, you're good. All right. Yeah, so it's a really neat little setup. But unfortunately it clips to the desk, so my desk wobbles a little bit, so you get that wobble. I'm hopefully going to try and fix that. I'd like to mount this thing to the wall eventually, but we'll see. Got to start somewhere. So anyways, a lot of talk. It's time to ink. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And I will say I'm going to be pretty deep in inking land. So I'll go ahead and put a banner up. Please feel free to throw something in the comments or the chat if you're here, if you're hanging out. And I will do my best to get to it and answer it. But let's see. I think I got it all set up. Oh, my banner. That's right. My banner. Let's show you. All right. I'm going to do my best on this today. Okay. So by the way, I've been in love with this pen, the Zebra Fude, or Fude, inking pen. So it has a couple tips. Sorry, it's a little hard to probably focus on that. You can kind of see it. You see my hand really well, not the pen. But anyways, this has been a really amazing pen. It has a double-ended pen. This is more like a specialty brush and nylon nib. But yeah, I've really been enjoying this. This has really been a huge game changer. So yeah, bear with me as I'm figuring the system out, and hopefully my pen and my hand won't be in the way too much. And I'm going to pull up my reference. I do not have that in front of me. Switch around. Let's switch this around. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if any of you are familiar with the Clone Wars, it's an animated television show, Star Wars television show. My husband and I have been catching up and watching it, and it's been a lot of fun. So anyways, this is one of the villains. He doesn't show up a ton, but he's like a Western style bounty hunter. He's pretty cool. I need to get my ink game back on. Oops, sorry, no. I'm trying to keep it on camera. So yeah, I've been wanting to do a little more traditional inking, so it's been kind of awesome, the timing of Inktober. Oh, here we go. That's where it starts. I'm grateful to have a cat that's actually very graceful. It's a word, dexterous. I can't say it, but she will just like tiptoe around everything I do, and she's never really made a mess. So I am very grateful for that. But there is always a first time, I suppose. Okay. And click that. So anyways, as I was saying, I've been so amazed. I've inked a lot in the past, and I've done some of my comics and art, but it was always with a crow quill pen. And it was fine, but you could only pull it in one direction. You have to keep reloading it with ink. And I think it was the whole dealio with you could only pull it in one direction that you're so used to drawing in many different directions that, what am I trying to say? It just was very difficult. And I'd use a brush sometimes. And then I got into doing micron pens, but you had to really work hard at getting the line weight correct. And I also realized I don't have amazing reference on this, but you know what? I'm going to take some artistic liberties. Oh yeah, I'll say that. I'll do some artistic liberties, and yeah, he got some new armor, so that's why it doesn't look like the ones he normally wears. Cheating. Well, that's okay. Anyways, what was I saying is, yeah, so the micron pens were very difficult to control, and they were difficult to create nice line weight, but they would work, and I could sort of hack it to get to do what I wanted to. But I finally, and then I was doing a lot of digital art and a lot of digital inking, which is wonderful because you have this miracle thing called control, what do we call it? Edit undo. But I was really hitting that button so much and end up really not progressing and getting very far very quickly. So that's kind of one of the big downsides of doing digital inking. And so the lines would look great, but you're just so tempted to zoom in at 200% to fidget with the line because you can. And no one's going to ever see that detail. And it would take me so long. And so I was realizing if I really want to get my comic done, I'm like, I have to speed something up. And new Inktober is coming up, and there have been, parts of me being like, I really do miss having the touch of traditional media, because that's really my first love. I still draw my sketchbook. I always start by hand drawing everything, because that's just how my brain is wired. It knows, the muscle memory knows exactly what to do. I'm much better sketching in person in a sketchbook than I am digitally. I hope you guys are hearing all this. My mic. Well, hopefully my mic's working. Otherwise you'll see my lips moving the whole time and nothing coming out. So all that to say is, so I really still love traditional media, but there's so many good benefits to doing digital. You can alter and change things really quickly on the fly. It's pretty fantastic. But I was realizing I'm just taking way too much time doing certain things, including inking. So anyways, as Inktober was coming around, I was like, well, what better time than the present? Let me just try a new tool. And so I went to Jake Parker's website, and he had some really good tool recommendations. And I've tried a couple pens before that he recommended. No, I can't remember. I think I got them on Amazon somewhere, and they were okay. But I saw the Zebra Fude double-ended pen, and I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be like the others, but I'll give it a shot. Guys, I love this pen. It's so much fun. It's a felt tip, but it's very flexible and it springs back really well. I have a really tight control when I come to drawing and inking. And so the problem when I try and use the soft bristle tip, this one, this is great if you're doing a little bit bigger and not as much smaller detail work. And if you have really excellent control, which I guess I don't. But this responds to how I draw and ink the best out of anything else. And everyone's going to be different, but I'm loving it. And I just feel like it does so much of the work. Now, granted, I've had a lot of practice as well. So this is not like my first rodeo. Oh, cowboys, get it? Okay, anyways. So it's not my first time inking. So I have had some practice before. And I'm realizing I don't have the best reference images, but oh well. Yep, artistic liberties happening again. But I just feel like this pen does the work for me. It's brought a lot of fun back in. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do there. You know what? This might need some. No. Oh. We're good. She has a basket right there, so she sits. Good job. Good job. Oh, and by the way, another good perk about this is that it actually dries really fast. So if your cat walks across it, you should be good for a little bit at least. And so it shouldn't smear immediately. It has smeared a little bit if I'm way too fast and drag my hand over it, but by and large, I've been impressed that it's not nearly like India ink where you look at it and it smears. All right. Okay. I'm later going to look at the reference picture and be like, whoa, that's way off. But you know what? It's Inktober and I'm not doing this for Disney, so, I mean, unless you want to hire me. Especially for something like this right now, I'd rather just get it done. This particular word is already passed, but I'm like, I just want to get it done because I've already drawn it. Okay. So I don't know if you hear that, but as I'm drawing careful lines and lots of long lines, and you'll see it as I do this later, I exhale slowly, slow and controlled. It don't know how to describe it, but it just really helps keep my lines straight. And for anything that isn't kept straight, there's whiteout. It's one of the more unexpected things. I drew a ton of this Inktober, doing a Star Wars theme. It's a lot of weaponry. And I'm not new to drawing it, but I feel like I'm not very good at drawing guns and drawing hands interacting with them and holding them. So it's like every character has some sort of firearm or, weapon to defend themselves or whatnot. So it's like, oh, I am learning how to draw this kind of quickly. And it really helps to have reference. It's not cheating, guys. Reference is not cheating. It's a tool, so use it. Okay. Now it's interesting. Normally I start with the face and I go from there, but I just decide to start somewhere else today. And the reason I do that, at least right now, is it kind of helps take the pressure off being like, oh, I got to get the face, I got to get it right. But then usually sometimes a problem with that is if you start with the face, you're not as warmed up. So it is a little easier to mess it up. Whereas after, inking all this and then I go back to the face, I'm a little more warmed up. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this actually helps a little bit. Let me just quickly check something. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that I was still broadcasting. Hopefully that sound of me turning paper is not too obnoxious. I'll find out later. All right, that'll be an example for some whiteout. So another tool that Jake recommended, and again, I'll put the link. I'll try to remember to put the link to the tools in the description. But let's see if this helps. Okay, which is a better camera? I don't know if it's working, but anyways, it's called Posca. It's by Uni. It's Japanese, and it's kind of like a little whiteout chalk pen. It works quite well. So later when I put this in the Photoshop, I will clean up anything that still looks a little bit gray, but I'll take the levels and, push the whites to as pure white as I can get it, and then the blacks too as black as I can get them. Oh, I look now and I realize that his little arm doodad gadgets are a little different. Who cares? It's okay. Okay. So see, if I was doing this on Clip Studio or Photoshop, oh man, I would be just agonizing over every little detail. His little belt here. And so, like, I don't mind doing that if it's a nice cover design or a really nice standalone painting. But if I'm going to be doing a ton of pages, a lot of them I can't, nor should I be spending that much time on things that people won't see. Again, I'm humbly reminded that even if I can be a good or a decent artist, it doesn't necessarily make me a good comic artist, because there is a big difference. It's not just doing illustration work. You see the comic and the story as a whole. And so I find, at least for me, that if I start putting in too much detail, it kind of slows down the narrative. And sometimes certain comics are really good to have a lot of detail in them, but by and large, you have so much art you got to make. And, it's an issue. You just don't have time. Wow, I just preached to myself there. All right, Jessica, go back and listen to this when you decide to be a perfectionist again. The struggle is real. I love doing wrinkles in clothing. It's so fun. Minimal effort to get something to look pretty good. I've also started spotting my blacks a lot more. Not as much as you can probably spot blacks, and if you're new to that term, hopefully I'm saying it right, I'm not just making that up, it means adding more black patches, black spots, so you can see the shadow on his sleeve and his collar right here. I don't have to put black in there. I could later, if I decide to go in Photoshop and add shadow, I could do that. But especially in an ink drawing, the purpose of this, I don't plan on coloring it. Maybe later, but is to stand alone as an ink drawing. And it helps ground the image a lot more. And there's definitely varying levels of how much I've seen people do. I'm still a little bit shy when I don't want to do too much. I kind of like having a lot more of that clear detail. You'll look at some comics and like, oh my goodness, there's so much black spots all over it. So but I like having a little more visibility in the detail. Let's make his coat look a little beat up. So this pen is pretty responsive. Sorry, I guess I kind of talk too much while I'm doing this part. So you can see I'm getting some pretty fine detail for this pen. I think that's one of the things I've really been impressed about it is how much fine detail I can get, and yet just a wide variety of shapes, sizes, line width. The one thing I will say is not refillable. So I already have a couple more here. You can see them actually up here. So it's my third one now. And I'm putting tape on them to mark basically how old they are. And we're like, okay, I think it's this one that's like kind of on its way out. So I'm doing non-important details with it. This one's sort of okay. Or was it the other way around? Well, I'll find out. This one is good though. I'm pretty sure. That's why I have this. Zoink scoobs. All right. Okay, let me try to attempt. I must have been looking at a different reference image when I drew out this little gauntlet here. Not really a gauntlet. The thing I will just quickly say is I've done a lot of, I decided to do my sketch in my sketchbook, scan it in, fix anything in Photoshop, and then in Clip Studio, and then print it with blue lines on a cardstock paper. It's just your standard cardstock paper. I don't know which weight it is, but it's fairly smooth. It does all right for ink. It does bleed just a tiny bit, but very minimal. So I can get away with it. But I decided that it's for something like this, it's nice to have as many lines as I can put down blue line wise. So I don't have to guess at when I'm trying to ink, because that's usually where I get in trouble if I try ad-libbing with my pen and then finding that like, oh, that's not working. Some ad-libs, yes, fine. But when you start doing too much, it's easy to start adding detail that just kind of looks like you hadn't put any thought in it, like an afterthought. As I say that, I'm about to ad-lib this thing on his arm. Okay, here we go. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to grab my trusty blue pencil. Let me just do a little sketching. That way, this won't show up when I scan it, or it will show up when I scan it, but later in Photoshop, I can basically, with a click of a button, I can get rid of all these blue lines. So that's why people, do a lot of this stuff in blue lines. But I just didn't want to. I don't like sketching in blue line for one reason. It doesn't erase very well. And I sketch with a variety of pencils, so with different lead thickness and hardness. So that's why I found so far this works. And it's a certain number, a hex number that you can use. Okay, it's in the back. A certain hex number of blue. It's called non-photo blue. And so I use that. And in channels, I just select the blue and it all goes bye-bye. Okay. Okay. Sorry, couldn't see that. Try to see if we can do it again. I'll be able to fix a little bit of that here, but a lot of that will be in Photoshop. But it does a pretty good job. And I really like that it's a fine tip as well. Good enough for today. I'm gonna grab the pen that I don't care too much about. Oops. So this one, as it's starting to die a little bit, I'm using it for more spotting those blacks. Come back to this part. I don't know if I like just this open spot, but I might have to see what it looks like when everything else is finished. Probably some roughing it up a little bit would be good. You probably can't see a whole lot of what I'm doing, but sketching some potential options. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do that right now. This one is starting to lose its springiness just a little bit. I've been using it enough. You know what? It's not enough for you to really notice too much when it's scanned. Still, it's time to put an order in for a few more. I just wish that they had a refillable one. It would be nice. All right. And we'll see how the rest looks. Okay. Okay, I gotta do this silly little thing they've been putting off. It's not exactly what he wears, like at all, kinda. But you know what? I'll just pretend that he needed new ones. Or maybe this is his old ones. It's always the case when I do pictures like this, like fan art or technical drawings. I'm always worried that some, like, you know, someone who really follows the series or knows everything about every detail of the character or knows is a mechanic and like knows how things work, they're gonna look at it and be like, that's not how it works. It's not how it is. I'm sorry. I'm just an artist. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just drawing pretty pictures. So there's some pros and cons of doing fan art is that you don't actually have to come up with a lot of like the design. So that's been really nice because I do mostly my own original art and I have to come up with designs of things or figure that all out. So it's been so nice to be like, oh, I just have to get a reference picture and copy what I see. It's so great. The downside is that if you don't get it quite right, it's kind of like, oh, that's way off. You can't just bluff your way through it, or you can if you're me. That reminds me of a story. I was doing the drawing one time. It was of this person using a sawhorse to cut some boards. And the way that the sawhorse, you had like, you know, both sawhorses here, and you had like the piece of wood on top. And I have drawn the person sawing the wood in the middle. And I think someone pointed out being like, that's not how you saw wood, because as soon as they cut it, like it falls out. You're supposed to saw it on the end. I was like, oh, yep. That's right. You get so into it, you kind of forget how physics work sometimes. And that's why we need proofreaders. Oh. It's kind of like it's gone. Kind of enough. Good enough for today. It's kind of different from the ones, the guns that he has in the reference photo, but if I were actually doing this character for real, maybe in a comic or something, more than just fan art, I'd actually practice drawing all the props. Good thing we're not getting graded for Inktober. Okay. Okay. We got. All right. I think. The rest of his fingers are missing. That's a problem. Kinda. Oh, that worked out just fine, actually. Okay. It's going to become a good enough situation. Hey, Zach. What up? It's been a hot second. Feel free if you want to jump in. I'm not going to be doing this a whole lot longer. I'm just going to finish this and off to the next piece of art, the next deadline. But feel free to jump in if you'd like to. Just let me know. Okay. Let's go for the face. I did not actually send a link. Trying to remember how to do that again. Because I was just trying to get this going. But would you like a link? Can get you one. First one's free. And I actually have more Inktobers I can ink too. So I have them all lined up. I have drawn them out. Just not inked yet. Okay. So yeah, Zach, in case you didn't hear that, just let me know if you'd like a link. I did not send a link at the normal people I send out links to, but I can get one going. I would like to know what this importance of this little thing is for this character. Okay. Guy has like a perpetual scowl. Ooh, make him look a little too old. I might need to include something on that teeth. Okay, we'll come back to it. Oh no. Zach handling a sick child. I'm sorry. Oh. May have already made me sick. Take care of yourself. No, I basically accept that. If my husband gets sick at any point, like in the past, if he's ever gotten a cold, I'm like, all right, well, I'll adjust my schedule because I will be getting sick as well. I just know it. It's only one time it didn't happen. Okay, let's grab the blue line. Hopefully it's regular sick. Oh, not the other sick. Okay. I might have to work on his little snarl more. I don't know if I like that, but okay, I'll come back to it. Okay. Hat. Let's use the one that is starting to go a little dry because it should be fine. So another interesting thing about inking that I've been discovering is inking blacks that are next to other blacks. I'm still figuring out the magic formula to that. But you'll see that I'm going to basically just block this all in with black. But in order to get some detail lines, I'm going to have to leave some whites. So, and this is black too, his little headgear. Hey, go me go. Gooey me go? He looks good. Did you print this out after sketching digitally? I did a combination. I'm doing a hybrid where I sketch traditionally initially. So I'll get usually the roughs down, and then I will put into Photoshop and then do the rest digitally sketch. And I'm pretty sure I think I did both on this one. Actually, I may have done them all digitally. Sometimes it just, I'm kind of finding whatever seems to work best at that moment. I'll grab my sketchbook and start there, or I will go directly into Clip Studio and start sketching. But this is the one I do want. Yeah, sometimes it's easier just to sketch in my sketchbook, and other times, like I did a little probe droid last night. It was late. I just needed to get it out. And luckily for something like that, it's easier to draw. In some cases, it's easier to draw things that are mechanical because you don't have to, they're a little less dynamic character-wise. So I could just quickly hash them out in Photoshop and call them done. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to kind of figure out what I'm doing here by just experimenting. I can always get rid of that white line if I want to. But I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. We left some lines there. That kind of gives the illusion of some rim lighting as well. All right, so we'll see how that is going to look. Let me fill that in. This is the other pen that I've been using. You can't really see it very well. It's a Pilot. This is another thing that was on Jake Parker's recommended tools, but it's all in Japanese, so I can't tell you what it is. I used to know some Japanese, but anyways, it's a pretty good nib. It's also a felt tip. This one, because I draw so small and such tight detail, I hardly ever use this for any drawing, but mostly for spotting my blacks. It also does have a little, this one normally I was told was silver, but actually it just ended up being a smaller version. And actually it's kind of nice. It handles pretty similarly to the Zebra Fude, the small end here. So, but I haven't used it that much. I've just been using it to spot my blacks. Thank you. Thank you. Can we go? And hello, Maria. Welcome. It's been so long since we've seen everyone. See how fast that goes. So you kind of have to be careful. It goes so quick. You know, I'm going to just try. I can pop it back in there. Yeah, I feel like the ink just comes gushing out sometimes, but not where it pools. But in these smaller sections, I'm going to have to use the smaller tip. Okay, switch, flip it. Yeah, but this is actually pretty surprisingly tight compared to the other side of this pen. I might have to try, I'll probably have to do that sometimes, try doing an Inktober with just this side. Now what I'm trying to decide if I want to spot this part black, the rim. I'm gonna be daring. I'm gonna try something. Okay, I kind of like that right by the eyes, so it sort of comes back again. And let me go ahead and do. I'm just going to turn this all black, except this is where I forget being like, oh, do I bring it to the end? Do I not? Well, we'll start with that. And that's a nice thing about the white tool is that, actually, I'm probably going to have to do that in a moment here is I'll have to place some of that back in. There we go. I have really enjoyed spotting more blacks lately, though. It's been fun. However, there definitely is a balance. The piece I did with the Cara Dune in it, I got a little excited, and then I got a little scared, and I just felt like I over inked it for my taste and the style I'm trying to pursue. But hey, that's how we learn. Okay. Ooh, I don't know if I should do anything with his eyes. We'll see at the very end. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like something needs to happen there, but I'll figure that out later. So the one thing that I'm still trying to figure out with this pen, or really just any traditional ink, it goes so much faster. At least right now. I might change my mind in the future, but it's so much more enjoyable. I feel like I have a lot more control. I feel like I can make my faces look the way they want to look. But the thing that it's hard to get over a little bit is when you scan it in, it's like the computer adds like a yuck filter to the art. Like automatically it just looks awful and you're like, what happened? But it's your scanner picking up all that detail, like everything. And so, but as I'm finding out, like it doesn't matter because no one's really going to see that when the comic page is done. I just see it so easily because when you're digitally working, you see it at like 200%. So you see every fuzzy, yucky detail. And having done a lot of line art digitally, it just kind of makes my heart cry a little. Just being like, oh, my lines used to be so beautiful and clean. Not that anyone would see them, but I see them. So I'm trying to just get over that or find a way to make it scan a little cleaner. Good enough. Ooh, I still have my other Inktober. Today's Inktober I gotta do. Shoes. That's the word. think that's pretty good for now. Okay. I think I need to finish down here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish the cloak down here. Okay, and now I'm going to spot this black. So hopefully it'll kind of help balance out. I have really dark hat, and then hopefully the black down here will help sort of balance it out a bit. Yeah, that's right. I have today's Inktober, and I have some other artwork that I'm finishing up. I was hoping to post today, but we'll see for a certain contest. But I might want to sit on it one more night. It's a little more detailed than my normal Inktober, and I have been doing more grayscale coloring. So sometimes it's nice to let those things sit overnight. You can see it in the morning and get some fresh eyes on it. But it did sit last night, so we'll see. I mostly have the background to finish on it. Oh, it's so nice to use traditional inks again. It has a wonderful feeling. Ah, look at that. I like that. Hey, not absolutely perfect, but it's basically finished. Oh, now I gotta do the background. Oh, the afterthought of the background. Actually, I did think this out a little bit, but there was a time where I think as I get into doing more of my comics again, I'm gonna have to probably start with the background, because you're like, I'm all done, and then you're like, I'm not done. I still have the whole background to do. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if I want to spot any blacks here, like his gloves. Should I or shouldn't I? I kind of wanna. I think it looked good. Okay. Say a prayer and begin. And this is one of the nice things, is it kind of like, as I'm learning to figure out the places to avoid placing ink, it sort of, I don't know, I feel like it does a lot of heavy lifting, this pen. So I'm avoiding the highlight on the top part of his glove. And actually, I'm also going to avoid the bottom line too. Kind of where the knuckle goes. I'm going to go lead up to that, and I will leave. Yeah, like even that, I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty much done. Sometimes sort of those accidental lines make it look pretty good. Yeah, look at that. That ties everything in. I like that. Let's do it again. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty good. And it's those kind of gloves that don't have a finger, like a tip on them. but I will put a little black there. Okay. Okay. Anyways, all right. So now I'm starting to get a little bit into the weeds here, so I gotta finish this thing up. Add some shadows. Yeah, I really started to like adding some basic shadows. Do a little more here. Gotta be careful. I'm not gonna go too gung ho though. All right, I think it's probably good. Okay, let's bring this home now. Okay, so the background, I kind of wanted something. Usually I save this for last when I do my Inktober's, but I found lately it's been really nice having a nice border. It's made everything look like it belongs in the same family of Inktober. So I've been using this guy for my borders. And one of the things I'm trying to at least be aware of as I'm putting my border down, first of all, I'm just kind of going over one more time with my line. I'm being aware of trying to avoid any potential tangents. So tangent, if you're unfamiliar, is usually if a line runs into another line, but it's not meant to appear to be together, but it looks like it's together. A little difficult to describe, but for instance, if I were to draw this line and it were to hit just the top of his hat, like it would be butted up right next against it, that's one kind of tangent, and it's very unpleasing. It's kind of unsettling to the brain. Another tangent, so I'm basically taking this line in here and I'm going to bring it down and go back up. But if I had brought this line down and then followed this right here, it would look, again, sort of unsettling. So I'm going to try and make sure I don't do that. I see that this line is going to cross right through here. So I could probably either choose to fill that in black, or I might just leave this section. So anyways, all this forethought because I've made mistakes. So now I know what to look for. All right. But this part is actually by and large kind of fun. And by no means do I need it to be perfect. Okay. Make sure I clear the hat, but I want to make sure that this breaks the frame. I'm not going to the very end because I'm going to use my finer tip here to fill that in. Oops. I'll leave a little white there. I'm going to go ahead and put it in because I can always remove it if I want to. I might have to, but we'll see. I think it'll work. I just need to outline that little piece in white. I also have this Jelly Roll pen but admittedly, I'm not particularly fond of it. It doesn't work nearly as well as the other one, but it's a smaller space, so let's see. No, it's working now. Yay. Okay. Okay. I mean, you probably could barely see that. It's something I can boost up the white color on Photoshop. Oh, and this part here. Okay, so now let's just toss in a background. And it's already time for this thing to be done, so I'm not going to care too much about it. Time to make up some buildings. One of the most fun buildings to make is things that are not quite like perfect, symmetrical, or kind of run down. At this point, I'm like, you know what? I just need something. So are any of you going to watch The Mandalorian tomorrow? Season 2? I'm gonna. Quite excited. But try not to be too excited. I like to have very tempered expectations for these sorts of things. Oh man, yeah, I can totally tell I'm just coming up with whatever. Oops. No, that's good. Sometimes if I like something particular, I can always change it. But something is better than nothing. Oh, yes. Yes, I really enjoyed the first one. I remember, like, I don't know, I saw it and I was kind of like, yeah, like the trailer. And I was like, I don't know. I'm definitely more, I love a lot of classic Star Wars. When I say classic, I mean like the original trilogy, because that's what I grew up on. And I've been having a much bigger appreciation for the prequels because of Clone Wars. My husband and I are currently going through it. We are on the last season. But yeah, so anyways, I really liked a lot of the older classic stuff. And so I was kind of like, I don't know. The newer things have been okay. But I don't know. It was really special. It just kind of reminded me of that classic era of Star Wars that I really enjoyed. And all the fun video games that go with it. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Now I'm making up silliness. What is that? I don't know. Is it a rock? I think so. Okay. A lot of tricks I gotta make sure I don't try and overdo an area. It's like when to stop. If you're asking yourself that, it's probably time. Okay. But normally I don't go woohoo in the backgrounds, but right now I feel a little spirited. And I thought that this one would look nice with a little bit more of a background. Okay. Let me jump over here next. So I was watching this little video on how with The Mandalorian, they've been doing a new kind of filming that doesn't require green screen. And basically, it's several or a lot of the scenes are shot in this kind of like this room that's just surrounded by LED TVs, and they basically just put the backdrop they want on it. Like, so that's a simple version, but I mean, it makes sense and it looks great, and it kind of made me think how they probably don't need to do nearly as much filming on site on location anymore. But I was also thinking that's like, well, that's kind of a bummer in some ways, because we no longer have these places where it's like, this location is where Star Wars was shot, you know, come get your tourist things. And so probably less of that, but I can see how it obviously saves a lot more time and money and not having to send people out to all these locations. Ooh, technology. Okay. Ooh, a little hand grab going on. Okay, and I think I just have some buildings in the background. Yeah, I really did not give myself anything to work off of here. This is what happens when I don't actually plan out my drawing. And you have to do a lot of guesswork with a pen, and usually that ends up in a lot of time being fixed in Photoshop or whatnot. But I think I'm just going to do some very basic shapes. Okay, that's probably good enough. Good enough. Keep going. Good enough. Backgrounds are not really my fave, but I've enjoyed them a lot more lately. Okay. Cat, you should be so happy I gave you a nice little background to live in. Oh, got my death grip going on. But yeah, if anyone's in Star Wars, I'd recommend watching the Clone Wars. We've been very delightedly surprised how fun it's been. It totally fleshes out a lot more of the storylines, and the characters are just so much more fun and tolerable. Not even tolerable, like they're actually enjoyable. Like I have much more respect for Anakin now. And they have really neat characters like Ahsoka and Captain Rex, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I've been now going back for the Clone Wars and all the sequels and being like, oh, that's what they meant with this and that. And so yeah, it's definitely a fun watch. I can't believe season 5, was it 6, 7 And season 6, they finished in 2014. And then season 7, they picked up 6 years later. Like, that's a long gap for the show. We're watching it now, so no time has elapsed for us. But okay, guys, I think that's it. Oops. And one of the things I just realized here is, oh no, I've been bending my paper. It will. It won't show up. Oh, no. Oh, you know what? I will go ahead and sign it. Probably shouldn't put these lines here, but I'm going to do V20. And I'm just gonna white out that line. Yeah, good enough. Yeah, I'm gonna need a hand massage. I feel like when I was in school, I never really held the pencil properly, but at that point it was like too late to correct the way I hold a pencil. I'm like, yeah, it works fine for me. I can draw. So yeah, here we go. Ta-da! Cad Bane is born. The fearsome bounty hunter. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It's so fun to see you guys again and to see everyone hanging out. Yeah, I'm hopefully that this experience was somewhat enjoyable, and I'm going to see not too many shadows and hopefully not too much shaking. Feel free to leave comments if there's any improvements you'd like to see. But yeah, it's fun to try streaming and doing some traditional drawing, and I'm thinking I might be doing more of this in the future because I'm really, really liking how inking traditionally is going. This would have taken me all day to do digitally because I would have been re-going over all my lines again. So definitely really fun to do. So yeah, so guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully we'll do it in the future. I won't be streaming probably for, I don't know, a little bit still. I have my website I'm working on and I'm renovating, and I'm also finishing adding font and text to my mini comics. So for those of you who are new to my stream, I'll go ahead and say belated welcome now that we're at the end of the stream. And that I am working on comics, and right now I have a graphic novel in the works, and I have a little mini introduction comic that I'm just getting ready to launch, and I'm going to launch it publicly and for free, digital access. And so anyways, I'm getting that all wrapped up, and I'm going to have a nice new spiffy website to showcase it on. So it's been a really busy month. It's been Inktober, it's been website building, it's been trying to finish my comic. So yeah, I've been a little busy, but it's been really good to see everyone again. Yes, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Yeah, I'll be doing more live streaming soon. I still need a moment to finish everything up, but yeah, we'll see you then. So until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and an amazing weekend. Stay safe on Halloween fun time. But yeah, I'll see you later. So have a good one. Bye.